Hello, Asheville. This is Kelly M. Beard from Karmic Tools, and we are gathering today to discuss the week. It is Friday, April 16th, 2010, and lots and lots of juice to work with this week. So I hope you're well. I hope you've made it through the Pluto retrograde and Saturn re-entering Virgo. People are probably feeling very serious this week and maybe a little bit of heaviness because it's so intense. But just breathe through it. It's part of the process. It's part of what we're working on right now. And we talked about the Mercury retrograde through Taurus. I'm not going to dive too much into that, but it does turn around tomorrow. So we're in what's called the station right now. And remember, when planets are slowing down to change direction or change sign, they beam this intense energy down to us. So that Mercury is pulling back as we speak, preparing for us to do a little review for 3 weeks. It goes forward on May 11th, if you want to mark that on your calendar. And it doesn't come out of Taurus until June 6th or 7th. So right now, anytime Mercury retrogrades, the constant reminder is to do your backups and make sure that all your mechanical devices have been serviced and that kind of thing. And that's pretty typical. But one of the things that I like to remind people about is that despite mechanical and technical difficulties and miscommunications and delays and things, that's all part of the outer worldly effect, as it were. The internal processing effect and what we can tune into is just to pull back on the communication just a little bit so that you are communing within or working with your own process at this time, not really discussing it with other people, but marinating and doing the review. Once you do the review, you can discuss it. But until then, I think gathering information, going back over the territory that Mercury's already traveled through since April 2nd. Okay, so we had that whole 2 weeks leading up to tomorrow, and it's going to go all the way backwards over the last 2 weeks and activate any Taurus parts of your chart. So if you have Taurus, Scorpio, or Leo, Aquarius in you, then this Mercury retrograde is going to be particularly intense for you. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be hard or bad or challenging in any way. It's just that it's working you. It's asking you to pull back and do a review specifically. I mean, it's helping us globally work on getting more practical and grounded, remembering that all things need to be cultivated to work together. We're not doing singular things in the world. We're not planting one tree in our garden. We're planting a bunch of different things, and they need to grow together. And so Mercury's retrograde this month is going to help us do that. And one of the overview kind of for the whole year 2010, I've been reminding people, is that theoretically, if Mercury retrograded through Capricorn at the beginning of the year, that laid out a blueprint and strategy of what kind of ideas that you're trying to make tangible in the 3D world needed a blueprint or needed an outline, needed some direction, a structure, basically. That's what Capricorn does. It gives it a structure. So we did a review of what ideas worked last year and didn't work, and now we're applying that in real time. As we laid out the plan or the structure, then the Mercury retrograde through Taurus comes along and infuses it with that energy of beauty and substance. We want to cultivate those ideas that we decided on, that we committed to. That's what Capricorn also helps us with, making our commitments for what we're willing to be responsible for. Anything that we're creating, we have to be willing to be responsible for it as well. So now Taurus comes along and says, okay, make it practical, make it beautiful, make it juicy, make it feed everyone. How can we do that? And so this review is basically a good time for you to look at how whatever you set in motion at the beginning of the year, how beautiful and useful is it at this time? And are you still clearing? Because remember, the opposite of Taurus is Scorpio, so there might be a little deep digging going on this particular retrograde, just bringing that Scorpio energy in by default. So I just want you to infuse your ideas with some love and use any negativity or issues or challenges that you have as compost. We're going to stir those up, mix them up, throw away what's completely dead and useless, and use the rest for compost and fertilizer to help the rest of it grow. You've learned something. Whatever those challenges are, brought some lessons with them as well. So learn from it and take your cue from that energy. So this is the time we do that. And now, theoretically, again, if we work the structure and we laid out the plan, and then we infuse it with food and beauty and delicious, juicy energy that feeds yourself and benefits others, then the next Mercury retrograde, which is August, September, is going to come through Virgo. And Virgo is our fusion. Virgo's the healer. Virgo will go through it with a fine-tooth comb, edit, revise, review, go back over. There's something we've got to get to seal the deal, as it were. So I think of Virgo as the sealer. whatever we set in motion at the beginning of the year, that last Mercury retrograde, September, is going to assist us with fusing it and really finishing up those final details of whatever project. And then at the end of the year, again, 2010 is going to end like 2009, which is with a Mercury retrograde straddling the year. So it's going to go backwards in Capricorn and really go back over that structure and say, okay, how'd you do? A whole year of your ideas, putting it down, trying to make it happen in 3D. And it's going to go forward in Sag saying, okay, is this truth for you? Is it real? Is this really what you wanted? Does it express your truth? And next year's all fire. So again, there's a lot of, not advice, but I encourage you to use this year to anchor your ideas in 3D, because next year's going to be super creative, and anything that's not stable could get blown up with that fiery energy. So we don't want to do that. We want to get our base tight so that we can expand and explore and be creative and really use that fiery energy to infuse us with the energy we need, that life and vitality that we really need to even care about our ideas and keep them going and keep working on them and stay faithful. So the big news for this weekend is definitely the Mercury retrograde. But we are still within the realm of the new moon in Aries, which was just Wednesday. Today's Friday. You know, when we work the lunations, we do 3 days before and the day of and 3 days after any full or new moon. You can also work it on the first quarter and last quarter if you're really serious about manifesting and creating different things in your world, whether it's personal or professional, whether it's 3D or emotional and spiritual, whatever it is that you're creating with your energy, that's your resource, that's your currency for getting anything done, is your own energy. And so new moon in Aries means brand new beginning, brand new identity, brand new year. This comes in around spring equinox, and we had the full moon in Libra already, so we've had that first lunation of the 3 high moons. We've got 3 of them to go, so we're in between the Aries new moon, which theoretically we seed a new identity and we create we plan a new year and that kind of thing. 2 weeks later, we hit the full moon in Scorpio, and Scorpio digs up in it and says, okay, are you sure? And it goes much deeper and says, is this true? Is this real? Is it pure? Are your motivations pure? Are you clean? Are you going forward clean, releasing all of the past? Because Scorpio is very karmic, and any missteps along the way, Scorpio is going to shine a light on them. And so that full moon is going to shine a light on where you may or may not be really properly using your power. When Scorpio's involved, it's about owning your power and understanding the responsibility that comes with that. You can create your world any way you see fit if you're willing to be responsible for the beginning, middle, and the end of whatever it is that you bring into being. And Scorpio is the power to create. So it's extremely potent. And anytime it's involved, we're creating. Whether you're dealing with people or entities or energies of any kind, you're creating when Scorpio gets activated. So that gives us a chance right now. I think you should spend the next 2 weeks really just solidifying the new identity, because the end of the month is going to be very intense too. On the 26th, we've got that 4th of 5 activations between Saturn and Uranus, which means out with the old and in with the new. And part of that is a final hit of between Virgo Pisces before it moves into Aries Libra, which is going to initiate a completely new 42-year cycle. So that's going to be huge on the 26th, and 2 days later is full moon in Scorpio, which is very intense as well. So just keep in mind the last week of the month and the first week of May is going to be fairly intense. But we're warming up right now. You want to just anchor your intentions for the new year, for the new you, for whatever it is that you're creating, the new beginning that you're feeling coming along. And anything that's not, like I said, pure in your own identity or true about who you are here and now today, Scorpio's going to come in with the full moon and strip it. So you want to do as much of that willingly and consciously as possible so that it's the least amount of pain is involved. Let's put it that way.